It's People to People with Rodney Grimes. It's Motivation Monday. Welcome. Welcome to all my guests. Here I am. It's another beautiful Monday above ground. And I'm always excited about doing what we do. Coming to you here at the home studio. We are under some construction at the Tyson's Corner studio, rearranging some things, getting some things in order. So we are really supposed to be what we consider into hiatus. And that means where we are just really not supposed to technically be on the air right now. So what I'm doing is just, I'm dropping those conversations that come to me, and I got to share them whenever it's put in my spirit. And so greetings and special love to everyone out there and to all the supporters of the People to People podcast at the DMV. My topic today is planting the seed to produce the root. But before I get into that, I want to just do a few shout outs to some people. Oh, and I got to put something out there. Also, we have a networking event coming up that was supposed to be on July 23rd, but we had to reschedule it due to some very, very, very personal situations in the family. We basically 2 deaths in Zena's family and then 1 death in mine. And so this weekend we got we'll be doing memorials and going on Monday. It'll be a funeral down in South Carolina for some very, very beautiful people. I send my condolences to Willie and Missy, the whole crew, Fred, Vivian, y'all just lost a sister and a brother. And I'm just, I don't, it just make you really think about things. So that's part of the reason why I'm talking about this topic today. The seeds that we plant, I'm telling you, is really important. Also, shout out to my cousins, Dewan and Walter Shepard and Bruce and these are my cousins who they lost their father last Thursday. And I don't want to say lost because I should say transition. He transitioned, but they my blood cousins, and so much love and respect to them. It's just this is a process in life what we have to deal with, and so right now my heart's a little heavy, but the way that I look at it right now, I'm just taking nothing for granted. And that's part of the reason why I'm going to have this topic today, planting the seed to produce the roots. And I'm going to get into that. Shout out, happy birthday to Wanda Burry from Alexandria. Also, Tasha, I believe it's your son's birthday, Pop. That's what you call him, Pop. Happy birthday to him. Kathy McKnight, happy birthday to you. And to all of the individuals out there, somebody real dear to me, Sharon Moore, she had a birthday a few days ago, sometime last week. Happy belated birthday to you. And to all the individuals coming up. And I think that I done missed a couple of birthdays. I got some people on my mind that I gotta call them and make sure I didn't miss them. And let them know, I love them. Jarika, it was your birthday last week. I tried to shout out to you. I know y'all was doing a celebration, but anyway, I did send a message. So hopefully you got it. Sometimes it is what it is. Also, man, Sabrelo, I think I pronounced the name right. To my cousin Nesto and his fighter, man. Congratulations on the win over the weekend. It was a powerful, powerful fight. Didn't last long. I mean, he cracked the dude face open, but it is what it is. But again, I wanted everybody to know for real, we are very, very serious about moving forward and making changes in the DMV, and so we're going to talk about that, and that's part of the seeds that we're planting. But again, for all those who were looking forward to the celebration, well, I shouldn't say celebration, it was a networking mixer out at the intelligence office in Tyson's Corner that's supposed to be July 23rd. Is now rescheduled for July 30th. On top of that, I'm glad I'm doing that because also one of my nieces is having a wedding with bridal thing. I forget what you call it, but that was actually going to be on the same day. I was worried about that, but God got a way of making things work out. Then one of my nephews, my great nephews, he's having a housewarming party. I think, from what I heard about that, I think that's this weekend as well. So it is what it is. But for everybody that was going to join in and come out, we're going to be reposting the information and letting everybody know that we will be out at the networking mixer on July 30th in Tyson's Corner. If you can make it, you're going to be really pleased and happy to see what we're doing. And if you can, I'm not mad at you. I send peace and blessings to you as well. But again, I just want to say happy birthday to everybody celebrating life, and to the ones who are dealing with the loss of a loved one. I want to tell you, that I send love and respect. Hey, Boo, I'm on the line. I'm on air right now, bro. So everything good?
Yeah. I just called to check in.
Oh, okay. Well, they can actually hear you right now. So,
but good. It's all good, man. We had a good time with that fight.
Yeah, we did have a good time at that fight, bro.
I know, man. Scarborough Nation is live.
Yes. Pronounce the name again.
Scarborough.
That's. Yeah, I'm Scarborough. That's right. Yeah. So yeah, that we had a good time, Boo. Man, it was. This is Boo Jones from Man in the Mirror on the phone with me right now. And y'all got to also know that next week we got the show coming up for Man in the Mirror. So y'all definitely want to tune in, and we'll be putting information out about that coming up as well. We got a powerful show coming up with some individuals. Well, I won't place their name quite yet because I got a few more confirmations I got to make happen. But hey, Boo, man.
Special thing we're gonna do on that show. That's why I was calling you, but we're not gonna put it out there right now.
Okay, all right. Well, let me know. We talk. Always this is Boo Jones from originally from Old Town Alexandria, but then Boo Jones known all over the. I would get ready to say the state, but I'm gonna say all over the world because Boo always doing something. But yeah, Boo. Yo, bro. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish this podcast real quick. And
okay, man. So people to people, power to power, positive thinking people.
My man, you already know how we do it, man. Much respect.
All right, man.
Okay, bro. All right, yeah, that was Boo Jones from Man in the Mirror just calling me. We was at the fight together, and it was amazing, man. My cousin Nesto, bro. This dude is a trainer here. You hear me? Nesto, when he puts his hands on something, man, he be blessing it. Changes in faces. If you go on to Facebook, you'll be able to see him as well. But let me get into the conversation. Again. Welcome to everybody just joining. This is People to People with Rodney Grimes. This is the podcast of the DMV, and what we do is come to you to give you positive thinking information. We give you information. We want to plant seeds in your mind to have you to move forward, to be a blessing for others, for yourself, and just make life a lot easier. My topic today is planting the seed to produce the seed. Planting the seed to produce the roots. What am I talking about? I'm not talking about planting no seeds for no marijuana, to grow no corn, lettuce. I'm not talking about planting no trees, planting no grass. I'm talking about planting the seed in your life. I'm talking planting the seed in your children's life. I'm talking about planting the seed in your relationships. I'm talking about planting the seeds in your everyday spiritual growth. We have to be very, very conscious of the seeds that we are planting, because whatever you plant, whatever you sow, you will reap. Whatever you sow, you will reap. And that's almost like, even if you're doing the lawn in the front yard and you're throwing rotten seeds out there, you're gonna get rotten grass. If you're doing seeds that's not good and you're not fertilizing it and taking care of it, guess what? You're gonna be cutting up a lot of weeds in your grass, right? That's the same thing that applies in everyday life. The seeds that you plant. What really made me think about this, I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus, but I just want to, be conscious of, you know, what's going on, you know. So I ran into an individual. Hello there, Queen Rachel. Peace and blessings to you, my love. Peace and blessings to you. Um, what made me think about this topic was several conversations I was just having with other people. And we talk about the seeds that we're planting and how we do this. So I saw an individual who's much younger than me, who happened to be 17, almost 18 years old. And they was in somebody else's facility, and they weren't respecting it at all. And I felt like I should have really, really got into this person uh, situation because of what they were doing and how they was displaying things. And I realized that sometimes the way that these kids be acting is based on how they have been raised, how people have been showing them how to live, planting the seeds. And so I had to think about that as I refrained from engaging in a conversation with this child who I knew had no really common sense to what they were doing and the way they were doing it, that they were being so disrespectful. And the problem is the seeds that have been planted in this child's mind. And it really got to me. And I thought about that in many other individuals. And we talking about the seeds that we plant in people's lives. What is it? What happens when you plant seeds? What happens is we start to make things grow. And when things grow, let me tell you something. And let's talk about a tree. The tree start to grow up. It start to grow up, and they get a little stem that grows up. But and as it grows up, it'll start doing little things like opening up, and some leaves will start growing here and there. Leaves start growing here and there, right? And it's growing up. But guess what? Also, it's growing down too. It's growing down into the ground. And that's where the foundation of the seed is really going to prosper. That's where the seed is going to be very powerful. The seed, the part that's going down into the ground, because what it be doing, the roots are gripping into the ground. The roots are they're gripping into the ground, and they're grabbing on, and they're becoming solid, so that as the plant or whatever it is growing, it's going to have some kind of foundation to hold on to and be able to withstand the storms and things that it's going to have to endure. Now, follow me on this, because what I'm talking about is the same thing applies with the seeds that we are planting in our lives. I don't care how we look at it. It is situations that we have to pay attention to that are very, very important for us at the seeds, the type of seeds that we be planting. And I'm telling you, we talking about the seeds that we plant in schools, the seeds that we plant in religion, the seeds that we planting at home, the seeds that we planting in our relationships, the seeds we're planting even in our bodies, mentally, physically, and spiritually. And so I thought about that, and I'm asking you, what kind of seed are you planting? What kind of seed are you planting? What, really? And we have to think about that. So for everybody just joining in, the topic today is the planting the seed to produce roots. So when you do that, I'm talking. Let's start where we're going to start. Right, we planting seeds in relationship. Many times when a guy meets a woman, and we're gonna flip it, but let's go to the guy first. The guy start to plant the seed from the very beginning. He get his swag on. I don't care how, it all depends on the type of female he come after. If it's a real lady, he opening doors and saying, excuse me, please, thank you. He ain't using no profanity. He's planting the seed. He's planting the seed in this individual's mind. Hopefully that the seed will penetrate to the heart and the roots will grab on into the hearts with the feelings and the emotions that he'll be able to manipulate that situation to build a relationship for whatever his intent is. And so when he's planting this seed, he's doing this with the intent to building a grip on something, right? And now follow me, right? So in a relationship, we do that. Same thing with a woman. The woman, she decides, she say, I want this man in my life. She start to have a seed planted and she start to water that seed and start to filtrate get into the mind of the guy and then to the heart of the guy, and she planting roots in there to manipulate the whole situation to make it benefit her, and he do the same thing to make it benefit him. Now, that when I'm talking about planting seeds, I'm talking about having relationships where you're making people like you, want people to respect you, you want them to love you, right? So, and this is personal relationships right now I'm talking about. So what happens? What do? We plant these seeds in each other's mind and hoping that things will move forward. Okay? Really important for us to pay attention to that. What kind of seeds are you planting? What are you looking to get out of the process of the seed planting into the relationship? What are you sowing into the relationship? And we looking at where we are today in society on how things is going. And it is very, very important for us to pay attention to what's going on. I'm telling you, the seeds that we plant are very, very powerful, and they are going to manifest into our tomorrow. And we're going to see what kind of fruit we're going to get. What's going to come out of it? What are we going to produce? So we talking about planting the seeds in relationships right now. That's where I'm at. We got to be conscious of how you are starting a relationship, because how you started is on how you're going to have to keep it. The seed that you plant in the beginning, that's the one that, in order for you to get roses and flowers and lilies and all those beautiful flowers to come out of that relationship, you're going to have to nurture that and water that so that the roots that set down in the relationship is going to be firm. And I keep using that terminology because I just want you to understand how powerful planting the seed is, but also what's really, really even more powerful is the root of the seeds. The roots of the seeds are very, very important. And we have to think about that as we move forward. I don't care whatever your situation. We're in trying time right now. It's a lot of us that's looking for instant gratification, but you don't want to water. You want to put a seed in there, but you don't want to water it. You don't want to put the work in. You don't want to clean off the weeds. You don't want to smooth off the ground. You don't want to make sure there's stuff not around it so that it get the right sunshine, the right love and tender care, so it'll develop into something, growing up into something, and also getting a foundation where it has a solid root within it. Planting the seed is important. Planting the seed is important because we want to know what the seed is going to produce. What is the seed going to produce? How is the seed going to move forward? We think about that in families. Man, I'm trying to tell you. I was just thinking about a very dear friend of mine. She has some beautiful daughters. I always compliment her about her daughters, right? And And I saw what she sold into the girls. I saw how she sold into them, and they just some sweethearts. And I adore them. I'm not calling people names because sometimes people get a little offended if you putting things out. But this individual, she had 3 beautiful daughters, very talented girls, and I just get a kick out of watching them. I was watching them on one of my programs anyway, and it was just amazing the seeds that was planted and sold into them, and I've seen how they've developed, and the roots of them in their relationships are grounded in a very, very firm manner. So let me talk about saying the seeds that we plant in our house, in our homes. You know, how many of us are really going to where we rest and planted a seed there that is really called the home? How many of us really have that? How many do you how many of us go to a place that's really home, that when you walk in, you really feel a place of peace and serenity? How many of us have that? That's very important. You know what happens when you get a foundation? You walk through the door doesn't make it a home. The couch doesn't make it a home. The bed doesn't make it a home. It's the environment of the place, the seed that you put in there, and the root of that starts to develop throughout that foundation. What kind of seeds do we set? That's what some of the problems with some of these kids that we're having. Why are they so out of control? You know why? The people that was planting some of the seeds didn't look at the weeds. Follow me. They didn't look at the weeds that was contaminating the seed that they gave life to. They didn't understand it. It's important for you to understand how you sow. How do you pass on the knowledge and love? It's so important for you to understand how do you communicate with another individual who's looking up to you for you to give them the guidance on which way to go. What you're doing, you're planting seeds in their mind. You're planting the seeds in their heart. And when you get these strong relationships, you're planting them roots in there that grab onto them. Those are the memories. How many of us are planting those positive seeds for us to move forward? I'm talking about a lot of my friends that I grew up with. Some of them have planted seeds with me that now done turned to weed. Okay? And I ain't talking about no smoking weed. I'm talking about the weeds that grow all wild and out of control, that has no purpose. Some of these people have gotten beyond themselves because of the seeds that they planting, the seeds that they planted. And when they look back on the memories, come on, those are the roots. You know, even if you got different situations. Say we got this big tree in the yard, right? And the tree is growing. The tree probably been growing for, let's say the tree been growing for 50 years. Let's just give it 50 years. Can you imagine where the roots are down in the ground? You looking at all the limbs, man, you should check out you can only imagine what the roots look like. How is it that when that storm come through there, that tree just weave and bob, but it don't fall down? Because the roots have grabbed on and they got that foundation. That's what happened. Those are the memories of people. You know, like if you're in a relationship with your parents, say, okay, we're going to talk about guys with their father. Your father's being an abusive individual, whooping your tail, or he's doing drugs, or he's out here just doing things, going to jail and all this. What kind of seed is he planting in your memory? What kind of seed is he planting in your heart? What kind of roots are developing in the memories in your relationship? It's important for us to pay attention to the seeds that we are planting. With each one of us. In many, many relationships, I found myself that when I try to start off, I try to plant the seed of goodness and kind and honesty. And you know, sometimes, guess what? If I don't pay attention to the seed that I'm planting, I may not water it properly, which causes it to not grab on and get rooted in the right direction that causes some complications in my tomorrow, in my mornings to wake up, and even in the nights when I want to rest my head. It's important for you to pay attention to the seeds that you are planting. I hope that anyone that hear this message understand what I mean. We talking about right now. I was talking with some young ladies earlier today, and it's so profound where we are in this day and time. We want to talk about the pandemic. The pandemic, man. Let me tell you something. The pandemic ain't really got nothing too much to do on that the seeds that's been planted and where we are today, the roots that we standing on and holding on to. That pandemic, man, that was a couple of years. But what about, I've been here 63 years. What about all those other years? What about the seeds that I've been planting? I'm not going to talk about you. I'm going to talk about me. What about the seeds that I've been planting? I planted some seeds that, sometimes I didn't water them right. Sometimes I made some mistakes. Sometimes I did things that I had to go back and dig the root up. I had to dig the root up because I didn't go about it properly. We got to be conscious of how we are planting these seeds in life. This is people to people with Rodney Grimes. What we do, we bring nothing but truth and facts to you. I'm not making this up. You can sit back and evaluate yourself and ask yourself, what kind of seeds are you planting around your children? Hey, fathers, if you're going in there and you got a son and you are disrespecting your wife in front of your son, you're planting a negative seed in his mind that's going to become a growing process that's going to be rooted in his thoughts and his heart. And the way that he's going to go up and treat women is going to be based on the seed that you planting. Same thing with your daughters. You got to watch it. Treat your daughters like queens. Tell them to sit with their legs crossed. Tell them, talk to them and plant the seed of being respectful and having morals. This individual that I ran into, man, I'm disappointed because the seeds that have been planted in this child is unreal because there's nothing but weeds to me. I hate to say that because they didn't show no love, no respect. And I was saying to myself, can I really be mad at that individual? I felt sorry for the child because I'm talking about what's been planted in this individual's mind. A lot of us are wondering why kids are out of control. It's the seeds that you be planting. Go back and think about how many things you've done around your child that you know you shouldn't have done, but you made excuses for it. And now you're having a problem because it then got rooted into their DNA. And now they are responding the way that you planted the seed in the first place. Sometimes you got to look at the foundation and where you are moving. I'm just keeping it real. It's people to people, power to power, positive thinking people. Let me tell you how that works. People to people, we plant seeds in each other's minds, whether we support each other or we come at each other aggressively. Not everybody's going to come to you and plant a seed of love. Some people going to come plant some seed of hate. Some people going to come plant some seed of doubt, lies. Some going to plant seeds of joy. I know a lot of people when I see them, because of the seeds they planted in my relationship with them, when I see them, I automatically smile. I get tickled when I see them because the roots that's in my heart and in my DNA are roots that was from the seeds of the relationship that we built many, many years ago that was fertilized properly. You having a problem with your grandchildren? You better check out what kind of fertilization they are getting exposed to. That means what is their surroundings? Who is planting the seeds in their mind? I tell you, and we all are responsible one way or the other. I don't exclude myself. I was on the subway train and these young boys was fighting. I told this story several times to some people. And here I was standing there with about 5, 6 other men. And none of us had enough balls to stand up and try to stop these boys. Now, I know we had to use some common sense because the seeds that have been planted in our head is that he might have a gun and shoot you. Embedded in the roots of our thoughts. Embedded in the roots of our hearts. What kind of seeds have been planted? We got seeds out here that's been planted in our DNA that we should not say one thing, just let them run wild until it happened to you. It's important that we pay attention to the seeds that we plant. Now, let me tell you something. The reason why I think about that, I keep thinking about that subway. It was about between 5 to 6 kids. And this one boy, he just jumping on 3 of them, and he was fighting them. Now, I was saying, man, he's planting the seed of fear in these young boys. And I don't know what's going to come out of that. But I was really saddened to think that all he kept saying, I'll kill you, I'll kill you, I'll kill you. Let me tell you something. That boy didn't learn that in school. He didn't learn that. You know where that started? That started somewhere when the seeds was planted in him before he got to school, before he got in the streets. Believe me, your child out there running around hoeing, doing drugs, having babies unconditionally. Guess what? Those are some of the seeds that have been planted from home. And sometimes when I say planted at home, meaning you're not just paying attention to the telephone that they on, because the seeds is being planted into their DNA right through the little telephone that you left. We got kids right now, 7, 8, 9 years old, got cell phones, don't have no job, and all kind of things are getting planted in their mind. The seeds are being planted. Boop, boop, boop. You want to know why them young boys don't have a problem with shooting you? Guess what? The seed already been planted. They've been showing them how to pull a trigger with all these little games where they got different people shooting each other, blowing the cars up, and oh man, it's crazy. For all this joining in just now, my name is Rodney Grimes. This is People to People. This is the People's Podcast of the DMV. I come to you with the intent to always try to empower you and myself. As I speak to you, I don't see you. I see me. So I be talking to Rodney most of the time. I'm trying to plant a seed inside of me that I'll continue to move forward and be a positive force for others. I'll be a positive source for my kids, my grandchildren. One of the things I know that the seeds that I'm planting, mostly everyone who knows me know I'm not a bad person. I ain't gonna say I've been perfect, but I'm not a bad person because I plant good seeds. And I go back and try to water them. Every now and then I get on the phone, just call somebody and say, hey, I'm just calling to tell you I love you. You know what that's doing? I'm planting the seed of love. And when I call, I'm fertilizing it. Because you know what I want to happen? I want the root of my relationship to get grounded within their DNA. It's important. A lot of us is trying to figure out why we are running so buck wild because we're not fertilizing the things that we have planted, the seeds that we have put out and looking at the harvest of it. We're not paying attention if it's growing properly, if it's growing crooked or what. A lot of times we look back and we be saying, what the hell did I plant? For real, let's keep it real. That's what it's all about. You got to understand what you're sowing. You hear the saying, you reap what you sow? And it's true. Well, if you out there and you planting things in the street, people are seeing you that you're a negative individual, guess what? That's what's going to happen. Your roots and your memories of you are going to be rooted in their minds, and they're going to be looking at you, and they're going to be really, really tripping out on what's going on with you. It's important. It's important that you pay attention to the seeds that you're planting in all relationships. I go to religion. The seed had been planted in many, many people's mind that you have to do everything right to go to heaven. Think about this. Do you think that God planted the seed of perfect people? Do you think he did that? Nah. It's through the process of life that we learn to move where we have to go. Okay. Lauren Williams says, I have gained more tonight than ever from hearing from you on your platform. Bless you, my brother. Thank you. Peace and blessings to you. When I'm telling you, it is important for us as individuals to plant the proper seed. I don't care what it is. And when you go back, you're going to have these obstacles. When you plant a garden, you put fine dirt. Just say you dig it up and you plant a garden and you put all the fine dirt out there. You start to plant the seed in the dirt with the proper intention for it to grow to be exactly what you want. But you can't control the environment totally around you. So when the wind blows, it's going to blow some stuff from another place and it's going to come here. We got some rabbits and squirrels and everything going to come and plant some stuff in the soil. But you got to pay attention to the seed that you planted. You got to go out there and you got to dig up those weeds. You got to move them. You got to do the same thing in your relationship. You got to go back and you got to fertilize your relationship. I don't care what it is. Hey, you know what happens in families when people are beefing with each other? They planted those negative seeds. You might got this one person in the family that love planting negative seeds. And then you got the other person that'll go behind your back and fertilize the seed, water it, right? With that negative energy. And now you got weeds growing up into the situation, which is the negative energy, which now is the roots of this whole thing. You know, a lot of times what people say when you're having problems, go to the root of the problem. Why do they say that? The root, it really holds it. The seed starts it. But when the root is grounded and holding on, that's where the foundation of the situation is. We have to be conscious of the seeds we are planting in all areas. We want to know why the children are all out of control. Look, we stopped planting the proper seeds in schools. We stopped even doing it in our homes. How many of us having dinner and sitting down and talking about the positive things of life, how things are going? You know where I grew up at? In the area where I grew up at, every individual parent on that block planted a seed in my heart. Every last one of them. And 99% of them planted a seed to help me to move forward as I move around in life. That the roots that's embedded into my spirit was from some of the people. And I could call out many, many names from the people that helped raise me. They planted some powerful, powerful seeds. Each one of you who will see this program, remember, it's up to you to plant the proper seed. And it's up to you to water it, to fertilize it, because it's going to get roots. Now, not everything is going to grow properly, and not everything is going to survive, but it will start. If you take a seed and keep putting water on it, guess what? It's going to start to get some roots. Something going to pop out of that seed. I'm telling you. Same thing in your life. Same thing in everything that you do, even on your job. You go on a job and you're going there half stepping in the beginning, you place the seed of doubt in the minds of the people around you. I'm a talker. A lot of times I like to talk about things that I had to deal with. I met a young lady, right? And I'm gonna speak really frankly. She's a sweetheart. I mean, every time I saw her, man, I love the way she smiled. And she planted a seed of happiness in me. And so I was thinking as I was moving forward, how did I want to fertilize that seed? You follow me? And I was thinking, did I want to fertilize it where to grow weeds, or did I want to fertilize it so that it's going to grow and be a good relationship? And not meaning that it had to be something physical. I'm just talking about overall. So I made the decision as me and this young lady was talking, and we was really, really getting to know each other. Guess what? I decided that I wanted the seed to be the seed of respect. I wanted this girl to respect me. Not because I wanted her to fear me. I wanted when she saw me that she would continue to smile because I was treating her properly, knowing that I was a married man. So what I did, I planted the seed. I went back and I talked to this young lady and I said, yo, I just want you to know I respect you, babe. I don't want you to think that I'm just looking at you like a piece of meat. I love it when you smile at me. You make me happy. You make me have a good day. But I want to plant a seed of respect in your heart. I want you to know I respect you. So I know all that little slick flirting and whatever I was doing. Hey, please forgive me. Because that's not the seed that I was trying to set forth. What I want you to know is that I want you to look at me, and every time you see me, that the root of this relationship that we have is going to be a foundation of respect. That's the seed that I want to place. And I believe that I've done that. Now, obviously my wife ain't sitting right here with me. She's asleep. But let me tell you something, I'm just keeping it real. I'm a man who get out here and see beautiful women all day long. And that does not change. But it's up to me to the seed that I plant. It's up to me on how I conduct myself, how I move about it. I got some people that are very, very dear to me. You know what I like to do? I just like to plant the seed of love with them. Individuals who mean a lot to me. I like them to know that what the relationship that we have is based off of me having a very, very powerful ground that I'm rooting in with them that's going to stand firm for when they look at me the next day or see me the next year. And also, I can tell you this was really important. The seeds that you plant in life also are just like the flowers. Your actions. Do you know that when you use one seed, that when that plant or the tree or whatever grows, that it produces other seeds? Isn't that powerful? It produces other seeds that's going to grow. And if you're producing seeds of love and wisdom, of support and understanding, when them seeds drop off, they drop off and the rain hits them and the people that are around them nourish them, guess what? That's what grows. We have to be conscious of what we plant, what we sow. A lot of times I walk up to young brothers now, man, I try to smile at them because I try to plant the seed of love in their heart. Half of them look at me and grit on me. But you know what I do? I don't accept that fertilization into my world. I just keep on moving with a positive attitude. I keep moving in the direction to plant the positive seeds of life. I'm saying to many of you who are probably listening to this program and you might look at it later, hey, let me tell you something. This is what my journey is. I'm trying to plant the seeds where we're going to be moving together, networking. We're going to be supporting one another. We're not going to be out here chopping down each other and trying to destroy each other. I'm not that individual. I'm the fertilization of some positive thinking people. And there's many of us out there. Let us be conscious of the seeds that we share with one another. Let us be into the positions where, also remember this, even let's go back to the relationships. You got to think about this. The seed that you planted when you got in your relationship is the seed that you need to be nourishing even after you've been in the relationship 10, 20, and 30 years. Go back and you better go get some fertilization. Go back and fertilize it. Go back and fertilize it with some love and understanding and forgiveness. Put it in a position where it'll be able to, it could hold on to the root of which you have established so that it stand firm as it move forward into the morning with the rising sun. Let us be into a position where we can plant these seeds for one another, that we be a blessing, not a curse. I am so excited about where I'm going and what God is doing in my life. He's planting seeds all around me. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm paying attention, because when I see a weed come up, I pull it. I remove myself from it, get it out of my garden. I get it out of my lawn. I get it out of my pocket, get it out of my mind, get it out of my heart. I'm planting nothing but seeds of joy and prosperity. I'm asking you who watch this program to do the same thing. Starting right now, start planting positive seeds to all those people around you. You know, we went to see the fight this weekend, and one of the things that I realized is this: when the trainers are training these fighters, they're planting seed of confidence. They're planting seeds of skill. You feel me? And if the fighter is paying attention, he's getting fertilized with the skills in order to be a champion. A lot of us got to understand that's life itself. If your children are coming into your home, fertilize them with love. Let me tell you something. If they're walking in there and the first thing you're doing is cussing and talking down to them, guess what? You just planted a seed of negativity into their spirit that becomes a root in their life. Plant the seed of love, even with yourself when you look in the mirror. Do you know they say the mind is a terrible thing to waste? Let me tell you something. Mind is a dangerous thing too. Your own mind will play tricks on you, planting seeds that you would let them grow into something that don't even exist. You know, one of the things that really bothered me with one of my grandchildren, she's scared to go move around in the house, even when I'm in here. And she know I ain't gonna let nothing happen to her. But somehow or another, somebody planted a seed of darkness in her mind. And I get so mad at her. Because I be saying, go on downstairs and get what you going. And she be like, well, stand at the step. Stand at the top of the step. And I say, I'm not standing at the top of the step. Ain't nothing going to bother you. I got the alarm on. And I don't tell her what I got. I got enough up in here to protect her. But what I be trying to do is plant the seed of confidence in her. But somehow or another, somebody planted the seed of darkness, of doubt. And it plays a real serious mind game with her. And it hurts me to my heart. And I'm telling you, it's our responsibility collectively to make the seeds develop in the right way. For everybody that just joined in, let me tell you something. It's the seed that we produce and put out is going to be our harvest. When I was younger, I had some older gentlemen, like I said, on the block where I grew up. They planted seeds in my heart for me to be an entrepreneur. Otis Jones, I'm going to say his name. He's deceased. Rest in peace, Big O. But much respect to you, my brother. Oh, man, how powerful you have been in my life. That when I was 9, 10, before he had any children, he planted a seed in my mind to go and make a couple of dollars. He let me use the lawnmower. He planted the seed of entrepreneurship in my brain. Told me, yo, you go down and knock on the door and set a price and you cut the grass. And when you cut it, he said, cut it good so they want you to come back. He was planting a seed inside of me at a young age. My mom had me take on a paper route. And some of the kids was laughing at me because I was going delivering the papers. But guess what was happening when I knocked on the door every Friday when they had to pay for the papers? Them people was planting seed of joy and love into my mind, into my spirit, for me to be a positive thinking individual now at 63 years old. put the seed of love and respect. I remember one of the ladies, I used to sometimes be scared of her little dog. And I'm going to tell you something that was crazy. When I threw the paper in the yard, the dog would always try to be chasing me. And she came and she said, don't worry about it because he ain't going to bite you. But the thought of my mind, the seed that I planted in my mind that this dog was going to bite me. Well, guess what? One day she said, Rodney, you're going to have to pick my paper up because the last time you threw it out there, it got wet. So this time I just thought about it. I said, you know what? If she said he ain't going to bite me, I'm going to find out. And the dog was just barking. I called the dog. Calling the dog. And then I went on up to put the paper up there. And when I started to close, I got to the dog's tail started wagging. And I realized something. I planted the own negative seed in my mind. What you say, Williams, just said, that's what I was thinking. How do you uproot those bad seeds? How do you recover from the planting bad seeds early in life? What you have to do, for real, acknowledge them. Let me tell you something. A tree that's been there 100 years can be uprooted. I don't care how far the roots went down. It can be uprooted. And it's up to you in your spirit, in your DNA, to uproot any negative thing that's going on around you. My father, God bless him, my father he had a drinking problem. My father had a lot of mental issues. When I say he was a very aggressive man. But as I got older, my father really affected me in a way that I have very low tolerance for another man to be aggressive with me. And I had a bad habit in the very early stages of my relationships that not understand the relationship between man and woman. Because my father used to beat on my mom. The seed was planted. But let me tell you what you do. I understand. I got a daughter. Please don't put your hands on my baby. See, I understand that this woman that I'm loving is somebody's baby. So I uprooted those negative things in my life to change them, to be able to look at them differently. This is any problem that you have. You have to deal with the root of the problem. Go to the root of it, where it starts. Where does it start? It started with the seed. And let me tell you something which you don't know. The root starts first. It's not the part going up. It's the part going down to build the foundation to hold on to. That's what starts first. It starts rooting and then it breaks through the ground. So you go back to the root of your situation. Look at it head on, no matter what it is. And I tell you that you can get the right fertilization to get it to grow. I'm trying to tell you. I do it all the time. My grass in the front yard, I see all them weeds popping up. I go get some weed killer. Put the weed killer out there and get rid of the weeds and then throw some more grass seed out there. And I water it with love and patience. And then next week I look and I start to see my lawn looking beautiful. Same thing in your life. Go back and look at where it starts. And don't be in denial. And don't blame nobody else for the weeds that's in your yard. It's up to you to pull them. So you know something? Not everybody's going to have the perfect yard because God didn't make them like that. I'm telling you. So don't get into this area where you look to be 100% of perfection. What you want to do is you do it step by step and look at the root of everything that done happened. You know, my biggest problem, see, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking Rodney. Well, what my biggest problem was when I was coming up, some of the seeds that were planted in my head took me down the wrong road. And then I had to learn about it later as I got older, how to manipulate in the right way to get the right product to come out of what I was looking for. So some of the seeds that were planted in my mind back then, some of them made me think I could take the shortcut, that I can go in there and take it and I can make it work without putting the work into it. But the stronger foundations of those around me that fertilized my mind properly gave me the root of the situation and put me in a position where I was able to really, really focus and say, you know what? I know exactly what I need to do. So, Lauren, let me say this. What you have to do if you want to uproot something, look at your surroundings and what it is. Look at the type of soil that you got it rooted in, where it's planted. What is the problem? Sometimes when you look at the situation, all you got to do is just you can dig the situation up and replant it in another situation. It's almost like a bad relationship. If you keep going home and getting your butt whooped, guess what? It's going to keep being a butt whooping. But if you decide that you don't want that anymore, you pack your stuff and you pick it up and move to another location and move it into a location where the foundation is peaceful. And you're not going to tolerate that negative energy or the butt whoops anymore. And I'm not saying that to you individually. I'm just saying, I'm just using it as just an analogy. I tell myself that all the time. Sometimes I look at everything around me. I know that the reason why I'm having trouble even with my thoughts and some of the things that I'm moving forward with, you know what? It's because I haven't looked at the root of the problem. Let me tell y'all something, and before I go, let me tell you this. So, reason why I'm in hiatus from the studio. If you go back and look at a lot of my shows, I'm keeping it real. I have a sound problem at the studio, right? I keep having the same problem, and I'm trying to find the root of it. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm searching to find the root to the problem. I'm searching to find, because I'm going to make this podcast be something that's going to be positive, and the foundation is going to be strong. So what I'm doing, I'm going down into the dirt of the situation. I'm looking at all ends. So that's with me. I don't want to talk about nobody else. I'm talking about me. So you know something? A lot of times I know I've had people tell me, man, you got a sound problem. I know I do. And I'm working on it. And I'm trying to find the root of it. Now, in different situations, understand this. In the process of you dealing with any problem, don't assume that you can fix it all the time yourself. Sometimes you got to go get a gardener. Sometimes you got to find somebody who know how to plant the corn, because your corn ain't coming out right. You got to go find that person that know how to fix it, and let them tell you how to plant it properly. So sometimes you got to go to a pastor, doctor, lawyer. You got to go to your spiritual guidance counselor, your life coach. Sometimes your sister, your brother, your mother, your father. Sometimes you just got to get on your knees and go to God. Go to the root of the problem and start to face it head on. And don't make excuses. Don't make excuses for people to come back and say, oh man, it's like this, like that. I can't blame nobody about that sound problem out there because it's my equipment. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm working on it, and I'm using that as an example. Guess what? I got to fix it. One way or the other. And I'm determined to do that. And I like to use these situations and let you know I'm not covering up nothing. It's real. This is facts. This is truth. I'm asking somebody. I need help. I want somebody who know how to read. As many people as I know, I shouldn't be out there having this problem, but it is what it is. And I'm not going to worry about that because it's my garden. It's my podcast. So you know what? I got to fix it. And I will. I'm telling you right now, I don't care if it takes me, as long as I have this in me and I feel the will of God is saying, Rodney, continue to do so. I'm going to focus on the root of the problem so that I can make sure that as it expands, that it's going to expand with positive energy. That it's going to expand in a way that it's going to be a blessing to somebody else. That the roots that I be setting down going to be strong foundation, and they're going to be able to say, you know what? That's what happens at People to People with Rodney Grimes. He plants those seeds that got strong roots. Roots of love, understanding, wisdom, the roots that make a difference in people's life. It's going to be the roots that's going to be something that people are going to be saying, man, I'm glad that I got fertilized with People to People. I'm telling you, it's all about you and what you want. You got to understand where you plant your seeds. You got to know how to plant them. You got to know where to plant them and where to uproot them. You got to put them in a position where you don't, be having everything going wrong. And you be planting weeds with your plants. That everything that you trying to plant out there, you got to pay attention to it. You got to pay attention to it that it's fertilized properly. Don't mind me. I'm on here trying to find something, and I'm all over the place. I thank everybody that tuned in. It's 8:01, and I gotta go. And I just want to let you know that God is good, and I hope that when you listen to the program that you will get something out of it. Plant a good seed. Plant a good seed in your life. Plant a good seed that's going to be something positive for everybody out there. Plant a seed that's going to be a difference for your tomorrow. Think about your loved ones. Think about how you're treating them. You got to realize something. It's up to you. It's up to you. You're the one that's planting the seed. And if you keep planting negative seeds, you're going to get negative results. People to people. Power to power. Positive thinking people. You reap what you sow. Oops. What did I do? Did y'all see that? Oh man, I get so tickled. I'm gonna tell you, I just stay positive. I don't care. It ain't gonna always be perfect. Sometimes things gonna happen, and you just gotta keep it moving. Plant those seeds.